Today she's sharing a personal story with us about one of her greatest struggles and how she used self-love and willpower to slay her demon. Please welcome Susan.
Hi everybody. Are you okay? Can I just tell you, honestly, I have never in my life felt more alive than I do right now. My body is on fire. And my heart is racing out of my chest. I've spent so many years speaking on behalf of other people. This is the first time I really have stood up in front of people and talked about my very personal stories with anyone. So I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Christy and Beverly and my wonderful ladies that I spent the past 6 months with. I wanted to tell you something really quickly and then I'll get on with things. In the past 10 days, I've been struggling with laryngitis. The irony of this. Like ridiculous, you know? And you can tell for those who know me and my voice. Then this morning, I woke up with the most amazing congestion. I took a hot shower thinking that would do the trick, and I mean, draining like you wouldn't believe. I'm choking so much that I pulled a muscle in my tongue. Honestly, I didn't even know that we had muscles in our tongue, and it was like the worst Charlie horse that I've ever felt. And I thought, oh my God, why? Like, why is this happening? I have this important thing I have to share. And somebody does not want me to tell this story. You know, but you know who that somebody is? It's me. That's what I realized, like how important this is for me today. So thank you all. What it is the old me. The me that I'll talk about halfway through this. The one that is not the healthy person. So today I'm wearing this necklace because it reminded me of Wonder Woman's bracelets, cuffs, so that I can finally defeat that old Susan, so that this new Susan can come to the surface already and get rid of all of these problems. So with that, yes, thank you. So with that, what I will say is I would like to know how many of you in this room have ever had a situation where at one point you felt like, God, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. But it really turned out to be the most amazing gift, right? Yeah, me too. In fact, this happened a little over 3 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was actually September 7th, September 7th through 8th. Excuse me. My entire life as I knew it had changed forever. And I was experiencing these digestive problems that just wouldn't be silenced under any conditions. My stomach felt like red-hot embers in a fireplace. And I was bloated like I was 9 months pregnant every time I ate. I was chugging maximum strength Mylanta and popping Rolaids like they were candy, but honestly, there was just no relief in sight for me. There and then, little did I know, that weekend, God, if only I had known, that weekend was the last time for at least 3 years that I would taste an ice-cold beer at happy hour on Friday night. And on Saturday, I had the most amazing plate of spicy Mexican food from Los Dos Molinas. How many of you guys have been there before? I miss Mexican food so much. And then Sunday, my favorite meal ever, brunch. And I had my favorite brunch at Richardson's, jalapeno eggs Benedict. It's the last time I've had jalapeno eggs Benedict. 3 years ago. I really miss it. And little did I know that that was the beginning of my journey to self-love. Up to this point in my life, this idea of this concept of self-love was constantly eluding me. People would talk about it like it was this simple thing, you know, that if you could just grasp the concepts and integrate them into your life, then everything would be great. And I thought, well, what does this mean? Like, why can't I do this? I want things to be great in my life. I'm going to figure out what this means, this idea of self-love. So I kept asking myself, what is it? Like, what is self-love, really? I had no idea. I really didn't. The only thing I knew for sure is that something was very, very wrong with me. And I had no choice but to change the way that I was living up to that point. I knew it was going to be hard work to get me through the issues that had brought me to this broken down place. But honestly, I had no idea just how hard it was going to be. There are so many lessons that I have imparted from this journey in the past 3 years. And by the way, it continues to be a work in progress. My hope is that by coming up and speaking my truth today, old Susan, you're not going to win, then everything will go by the wayside and then I'll start to feel really fantastic again. So please. As the days continued to unfold, and my medical bills were literally mounting into the thousands, and I'm thinking, where else could I really spend this money? I'd really like to spend this money somewhere else. I was on this quest. I wanted to figure out, what was wrong with me. I'm constantly asking myself this question: who are you? I hear that song, "Who Are You" by The Who. You guys know that one? I'd scream it and sing it as loud as I could at the top of my lungs, so angry. Because I just really wanted to understand why all this was happening to me. I'd ask myself that question: why is this happening over and over again, like a broken record, skipping in my head? These are just a few of the questions that led me on my path to where I am today, my journey of self-love with all of you. I have been walking around, perpetually hungry for years now, not just for food, but also for understanding. Every time I eat, 3-5 times a day, it's a constant reminder of what I've been through, what I continue to go through, and not to take my life for granted. So, what's changed? Well, for starters, I've been poked, prodded, tested, and I've had more blood drawn than I ever knew was possible. I've seen more doctors and specialists here in the United States and overseas. I have not eaten anything that comes out of a box, a can, or a bag in 3 years now. Nothing. And honestly, nothing is convenient for me. It's really hard. I eat out a lot less at restaurants, and I cook on average 3 meals a day. I socialize a lot less because, as we all know, everything revolves around food, right? Especially holidays. And I have found, unfortunately, travel is near impossible. I have been walking around for the past 3 years in a lifeless shell of a body, literally feeling like death most days. Unable to think clearly, and all the while I'm trying to conduct myself and live my life as normal as possible. I'm running my PR business, dealing with the stresses of life, and trying to date. Right? How do you explain that to somebody? Trying to date in the midst of all this turmoil and chaos. So, sorry, moving around a bit. By now, I'm sure you're all thinking, God, this sounds really awful. Right? It's not been very fun, but what good could possibly have come from this? Well, honestly, more than 100 amazing gifts and lessons in self-love and extreme self-care that I have learned over the past 3 years. Despite how incredibly difficult this continues to be for me to live a normal life, I have got to tell you honestly, I would never give up this experience, ever. Because of it, I am strong, self-aware, boundary-setting, healthy, amazingly beautiful, resilient woman, and I am forever changed. Here are a few of the magical gifts I've learned that you too can incorporate into your life. Identifying toxic relationships, especially with the one with yourself, right? And for those that you see outside of yourself, you have to figure out whether it's worth it to continue to have that relationship, and if not, you need to make those changes. Because it's really important. Your heart knows what's right for you. It's best that you listen to it. Another gift, identifying unhealthy behaviors and replacing them with healthy ones. This one is a long list for me. Mine started with admitting to myself and others that I was a binge eater. And I am pretty sure that all that late night snack is the straw that broke this camel's back. Next one, establishing boundaries. This one is really hard work. I found this to be really hard, but now that I understand what it means and how it makes me feel, I can honestly say it is fantastic, and it's very important. Experiencing empathy and compassion on a really, really deep level. Having had this experience and then talking to other people who've had other health challenges, I've learned to hear them in a very different way and actually understand and feel on a much deeper level. And another gift is my exploration into self-resilience and finding inner strength that I honestly never knew that I had. There have been so many days when I just couldn't deal with these circumstances anymore. And thank you so much for the support of my friends, many of which that are here today, and my family, for giving me that support so that I could find my inner strength to get through those days. And what I realized is I'm so much stronger than I thought that I was. And finally, ladies, listen up. Finding peace with your physical body. And actually appreciating it for what it does do for you. Instead of hating it for not being thin enough, for not being strong enough, maybe not being young enough. You get the picture, right? These are just some of the things that I've experienced through my journey so far. So now, I invite each and every one of you to take a deeper look into your own lives, into those areas that you maybe have not been willing to look at. What areas in your life are you not loving yourself? What's your vice? Are you numbing out with alcohol? Maybe it's food like me. Are you working too much? Are you addicted to your emotions and drama? You get the picture. Take a look, do the work, learn from it. Please love yourself first. It's not easy, but I promise you, it is so worth it in the end. On your table, you will find a little white bag, and inside is a little heart mirror that you can keep in your purse to remind you that you're amazing, beautiful, wonderful, resilient women, and that you must love yourself. Thank you all so much.